HitFilm Sensei here. Today we're going to talk about how to use the masking tool to create a simple cloning effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in some footage into HitFilm Express, and again, if you don't have HitFilm Express, you can download it at hitfilm.com, and it's free, so I would highly recommend that you do that. I'm going to import some footage, and I call this cup of water footage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this so you can see the this video better. This is editing. Now this is not a very high quality video, but it doesn't matter for purposes of this exercise. Not only is it not a high quality video, but it's not high quality audio. So here's what I did. I set this up in my little kitchenette, my dojo, and then as this video goes along, I walked over after I'd set it up. It's a simple camera video, cell phone. I grabbed a cup of water out of the cabinet. I filled it up, and then with water I set it on the table, and I said, here you go. And then I waited for a response, and I said, you're welcome. So then I went back to pretending like I was cleaning. Okay, so that was one half of the video. Then I left that cup there, and I said, oh shoot, I got to grab myself a magazine or something to be doing while the other me is doing what he's doing. So I had to run off camera, and I had to run into the other room because I'm like, oh shoot, I can't believe I forgot to grab a magazine. Grabbed a magazine. Now I'm all disheveled. My collar is, jacked up now. Okay, I sat down at the chair without disturbing the table, and then I pretended to be reading this magazine, you see. And I just let this thing run, okay? So then after a while of pretending to read the magazine when it seemed like it was long enough, right? Then I think that somebody's put a cup of coffee or a cup of water here next to me. So I I say, oh, thank you. And then I grab the cup of water, take a sip out of it, right? Put the magazine down, so good, right? And I take another sip and that sort of thing. So that's my basic footage, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my classic look, and I'm just going to create a new composite shot. Right click, make composite shot, just click OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this up a bit. I'm going to start where I was pretending to be cleaning, and I'm going to just trim it here. Right click, and oh, never mind, just slide it over. Then where I end up here, and then I go back to cleaning. As soon as I'm done sort of cleaning, then I'm going to right click it and slice the layer. Okay, now the top piece of footage I want to be able to see a little bit through, so I'm just going to temporarily change the opacity down so that I can see what's going on underneath. And what I want to do is back up here until I am waiting for myself to say thank you, about right there. And then I'm just going to drag this clip over until I am at the point where I actually do say, oh, thank you, like that. Okay, and then hopefully that's about right. So those are in sync now. I won't need the beginning of this piece, so I can go ahead and slice that off and delete it. So now what we have is, this guy's cleaning, this guy's reading the magazine, he grabs the cup out of the cabinet, puts water in it, it sets down, right, says here you go, and he says, oh, thank you. Oh, I'm a little bit off here, just a little bit. I'm a little late on saying thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this in here a bit, slide this forward just a smidgen, try it again. There we go. Good enough. Maybe just back a smidgen, and then I'm going to reset my end of the timeline this way. Okay, so now that we've created our clip, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mouse wheel to scroll out a little bit so I have some room here, and I'm going to create a mask that is going to separate these two characters. So I'm going to use my handy dandy mask tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start about here, and I'm going to come down to here, and then about over to here and down to there and maybe to there and then over to here and then down. Okay. All right, wonderful. And now I have masked out this side. Okay. So now I've done that, I don't need to drop the opacity, so we can increase that back to full. Okay. But the problem is the cup is still there. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to take that mask and I need to just cover the cup, right? So if I were to remove that, you can see that right now that layer is exposed too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this mask over to here, and then I'm going to bring it over to there, sort of covering that off completely, right? Okay. So now at this point, you don't see the cup, right? Then what happens is I'm going to place that cup down. Okay, just like that. And as soon as I back off enough, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keyframe the opacity. And it's under the transform properties, not the opacity, but the path. I'm going to keyframe the path. I'm going to advance one frame, and then I'm going to move the mask. And I'm going to expose the other me and the other cup of, next to me there, like this, you see. Okay, so then, now when my other me grabs that cup, it's still sitting there, you see. So you can see how that frame works, right? You can see how that mask essentially hides the fact that there's not really two of me there. Now the problem is, and you can probably see it, is that when that makes it shift, right? When that makes a shift right there to there, you can see the hard edge of the mask here disappear, and you can see it appear right there. It appears right here. And so it's sort of obvious that something else has happened there, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to fix that by softening the edge of that mask. And the way you do that is by opening up the shape properties, feather strength, and we're just going to ramp that baby up. Maybe 35 pixels. I mean, really make it a very, very soft mask. So that way it's not nearly as evident that there is a hard edge of a mask there anymore. It's gone. Now you can still see the color change a little bit. The lighting has adjusted in the time that I ran to grab the magazine. So, that sort of a thing. But the reality is it's not that big of a deal. And it's, for this demonstration, it's not that important. I'm going to go ahead and just sort of trim this up here. This is apparently about 24, 29. Let's call it 25. So if I say right click on properties, instead of being one minute and change, I'm just going to make it 0.2500, so that's kind of cleaned up there. And then we can run this and get an idea of here how this actually looks. So grab the cup, right? Fill it up with water. I'm going to set it down, say, here you go. Say, there you go. Say, thank you. You're welcome. And then I grab the cup. And it's fairly seamless. So, it's not perfect in terms of lighting. You can use the brightness and contrast effect here to sort of, this one right here, or this one, right here under color correction, to maybe adjust that little edge slightly. But, for purposes of what we're doing here, that's pretty good. So if you have any questions about how to create cloning with a mask tool, please leave them in the comments below. Be delighted to answer them for you. And otherwise, thanks for watching.